Okay, let's make another sound. We just did the basic bass, so we're gonna do a strings patch now. And so this should sound like, you know, violins or cellos. So let's get to it. The first thing we want to do is pitch back up where our keyboard was at. So if you remember on the bass one, we pitched it down by pushing the Z button. So let's push X 2 times to get us back in a more normal range, like that. And our oscillator waveforms, oscillator 1 is set to a sawtooth wave. So let's come down here, and I'm going to just drag this over again. Oscillator 1 is sawtooth. So sawtooth is this third one up right there. And oscillator 2 is also a sawtooth wave. So to turn oscillator 2 on, click on the tab and then make sure that square is yellow, and you'll see everything in the window will go to yellow. And we're going to do this one sawtooth too, but I'm going to actually just do it a little bit different than the first sawtooth, because I like to have slightly different waveforms. In fact, sometimes I'll do like one slightly under and one slightly above, and you'll see what that does in just a minute. So as long as it's close to the sawtooth, we're in good shape. The next thing we need to do is change our amp envelope settings to 2 seconds on the attack. So right now it's in 5 milliseconds, so this is going to be a big difference. 2 seconds is 2,000 milliseconds, so type in 2,000 there. And again, what that means is it's going to take 2 seconds for the volume to get full, right? So if I play this right now, you'll hear it took 2 seconds for it to get to full volume, right? So a lot more slow than our bass sound, like a violin is, or a string section, right? Decay also, we want to set that to 2 seconds, so click on that, 2,000. Sustain is -6, and the release is 2 seconds again, so we're going to type in 2,000. And again, what that release does is when you let go of the button, how long does the sound kind of hang out in the air after you let go of the button? So now we've got kind of our basic string sound. If you want to listen to it, it's getting there. Still not quite there yet. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to do some filter settings on this one. Low pass filter, which is what is by default in there, so you don't need to change anything with that. What we do need to change is the roll off needs to be set at 7.5 kilohertz. So right now it's set at 20.5. So I'm going to click on that and type in 7.5. And doing that, it's going to like drop it down to hertz. Now again, this is measured in kilohertz, right? So 7.5 kilohertz is actually 7,500 hertz. Then it'll pop up 7.5 kilohertz. So just to make sure that it says KHZ for kilohertz, and it's 7.5. Just a little bit. We're just taking off a little bit of that high end. It sounds like this now. Okay, we're getting closer. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this vibrato effect, and this is a little bit advanced, so bear with me here. We're going to go to our LFO1, which is this one right here. I'm going to make this window just a little bit bigger. And we are going to set it to sine wave, which it is by default on a sine wave. 5 hertz down here. So the rate is what we're going to change to 5 hertz. So go ahead and just type in 5 there. And then we're going to adjust the attack. That's the A in the upper right-hand corner of the LFO 1 to 2 seconds. So this right up here, see that little A, and then it's measured in milliseconds here. So again, if we want 2 seconds, then we got to type in 2,000 actually, and that'll give us 2 seconds. And you can see what that does with the waveform. It waits 2 seconds before it gets fully vibrational like it will do. And then the last thing we need to do is go down here to the matrix, and in the matrix we're going to assign LFO1 to control the pitch of our waveform. So here's pitch, and there's LFO1. So you got to just kind of like line those two up. Click on that number and type 0.2. And now listen to what happens. A nice little vibrato, right? Now if you have a high number in here, like let's say 18, listen to what happens. It's crazy because it's really affecting the pitch in a big way. So just 0.2 on that will give it a nice soft, mellow sound. If we pitch it down, it'll kind of sound like cellos a little bit. So there's your string sound right there. So we need to save this one now. It's still called the basic bass, so I'm going to click on here. 2-finger tap, go to rename, type in strings, hit enter, and then again just drag our bar up to our My Sounds folder, and now I've got my basic bass saved and I got my strings saved. And that's it for this video.